Hey y'all, how are you doing today? It's Miss Katie and you're here at Heritage Ways. Today we're going to make, I think, 3 different things. We're going to make supper. We're going to make supper for tonight. But it's going to be a meatless Monday, or at least I'm filming this on a Monday. You know, back in the Depression era, to save money, back in the 1930s depressions, do you know there were several Depression eras in the history of the United States? But back in the Great Depression, as we know it, there were a lot of people who enjoyed Meatless Monday, and it was just a way to save money because they had vegetables and so forth. Well, today we're going to make, or tonight, I'm going to bring you along as I make a vegetable lasagna using a product that I have found and I would recommend to y'all because I've used it several times. We're actually going to make grape tea. Grape tea. It is something that I put in my email newsletter a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks ago when I talked about our Easter lunch. So if you're not subscribed to my free newsletter, you might want to do that, and there's a link down in the description box so you can subscribe to that. But I talked about that grape tea and I had a lot of interest, so we're going to make that for supper. And then just a salad. Okay, the first thing we're going to make is the first thing I'm going to do is open the tomatoes for the lasagna. Now let me go ahead and say, because I'm going to be jumping back and forth in what I'm making. The grape tea recipe is already on my website, heritageways.com. It is also on page 126 in my first cookbook that I've written. So here's my first cookbook, From Katie's Kitchen, Volume 1. I don't know if you can see it very well because of the plastic. But From Katie's Kitchen, Volume 1. And also, like I said, it's on my website. You can buy the cookbook on my website, but the recipe is also free on my website. Now, I want to just insert here and say this is the middle of April, and I have some exciting news about the website that's going to be happening the end of the month, Lord willing. And that is the Heritage Ways General Store, where you can buy everything Heritage Ways, is being reconstructed, so it's more user friendly. Now, what I want to make, I wanted to make this video for y'all last year sometime when I found this product at Aldi. And then I went back and I didn't see the product anymore, and I thought, well, I'm not going to make the the recipe on video because they won't be able to find the product. Well, lo and behold, I was in Southeast Ohio not long ago at another Aldi, and I found the product. Now, it was marked down, but I'm just going to make this anyway. I'm going to tell you that you can probably find something comparable or the same thing, a different brand, elsewhere. But this is Simply Nature Organic, so it's an Aldi brand, green lentil lasagna sheets, gluten-free, vegan, plant-based. Now, let me just say, I'm not a vegan or a vegetarian. If you are, that's your choice. I'm all for meats and healthy meats, but I also like a good vegetarian meal or dish. Now, let me say, we don't eat all the factory stuff that was not intended for human consumption that is being pushed out there now. But this product is just green lentil lasagna sheets. I have used green lentil pasta, red lentil pasta, chickpea pasta, and they're delicious. I love them. But I always check the ingredients to make sure that it is for human consumption, if you know what I mean. So this is organic green lentil flour, organic green pea flour, and organic brown rice flour. That's it. So that's what we're going to use today, and we're actually going to make the recipe that's on the box. And I will go ahead either in the description box of this video, or I will link to my website where I put this. But somewhere I will put this recipe for you. So this comes from the box, Organic Green Lentil Vegetable Lasagna. It says it serves 4. And so what's happening right now, I have already, excuse me, I've already put a tablespoon of olive oil in my Dutch oven. I love this Lodge red Dutch oven that is from Lehman's. And it says 1.5 pounds of fresh vegetables diced. Okay, I'm using what I have. And I don't have fresh, so I had some frozen cauliflower that needed to be used up and some fresh from my garden. Well, not fresh, but I froze it last summer. We shredded a zucchini from our garden and froze it. So that's what I have. I've got cauliflower and zucchini. You could use whatever you want to use, obviously. And you know me, if you've been here long enough, you know that I use whatever I've got. Whatever I have. All right, so I've already sauteed those vegetables, and now it says to open a can of diced tomatoes and just dump that in my pot with my vegetables. But I wanted to show you 2 things that I got for Christmas. I had told y'all that I would make a video of what I got for Christmas, and then just January was much harder health-wise than I thought it was going to be. But if you will just come in and look, you'll see my cutting board that I got for Christmas. It's made by a local fella, and I will link his website or Instagram or something down below too in the comments because he ships. This is the second thing we have purchased from him, and I just love his products. And you know I love to shop local. I mean, look, it's quite huge, and I absolutely love this thing. Then also, Mr. Patient got me this can opener because, unfortunately, I suffer from arthritis in my hands, and this thing is so much easier to use. I think it's called Swing Away, and I don't know where he got it, but it is much easier for me to use. So I'm actually going to put these tomatoes in the pot of zucchini and cauliflower. Now, I did have to, I'm not on with my bottom. I did have to cook the liquid from the vegetables being frozen. I cooked that down to the where there's not any anymore. And then I'm just going to turn this on. It says cook it for about 5 minutes. Now I want to make the grape tea with you. I've got a 1/2 gallon. The recipe calls for 1 gallon. So just so you know, I'm making a 1/2 gallon today. I don't want to confuse you if you go to the website or look in the cookbook, and it's going to call for double the ingredients that I'm making today. 1/2 gallon just fits better in the fridge, and we don't drink a lot of tea with real sugar anyway, so I don't want a whole gallon of real sugar tea in the fridge. All right. The first thing is 3/4 cup of white grape juice. Now, do you know, I don't know if you know, but little Miss Homemaker, she said, Mama, what is white grape juice? And I said, well, you see it's green grapes on there. So green grapes are called white grapes, just so you know. All right. I don't know why. Who knows? Not me. All right, 3/4 cups of white grape juice. This was first served to us by a wonderful Southern lady in Middle Tennessee when we were first married, and Mr. Patient loved this recipe. He said, get that recipe, so I did. All right, then 3/4 cups of sugar. You might not need this funnel, but I just put it here just to make sure I don't make a mess. 3/4 cups of sugar. And then 1/4 cup of instant tea mix. This is unsweetened, just unsweetened instant tea cups. 1/4 cup. I love these things too. Talk about handy. That's handy. Then lemonade mix to make 1/4 gallon. Okay, so that is halfway to the 2-quart line. So if there's a yeah, there you go, 1 quart. There we go. So it tells you on if you get one of these with the little directions on it, it tells you how much to use to measure. All right, now here's a trick that is not written in the recipe, and I have found, especially since I use organic cane sugar, it's a little thicker when I use. It's not fine. The sugar's not fine, so I actually heat up some water a little bit so that the sugar is going to melt. And I just put, because what you're going to do, the rest of the recipe is just to fill this with pure water. I use pure water from my Berkey. But anyway, I'm just going to put enough warm water in there to melt that sugar. And then I'm just going to shake it. Shake it till you make it. This really does help to dissolve the solids of the lemonade and the sugar and the tea. Let's see. Now, the lemonade has sugar in it. Just so you know that. This is not something we use often. In fact, I had to go buy it for this recipe. In fact, I had to go buy the instant tea for this recipe. But I wanted to show it to you, the recipe, because I had so much interest in it. And I even sold a few cookbooks based on that recipe. Which, like I said, it's there on the internet. Okay, I think that's pretty... Now what you can do, you can finish adding more warm water and then refrigerate it, or just add your cold water. I have this water here. I'm just going to do it just to ensure that everything's dissolved. Anyway, I'm going to let this just sit here while I work on the lasagna. Then I'll come back. I'll finish it with cold water, put it in the fridge. That'll be... The kids love the... Mr. Patient and the kids all love this. I don't eat a whole lot of sugar, so I don't really... I sip on that a little bit. I did at Easter time, but it's not a daily thing for me. But you might like it. All right, I'm going to bring you in to show you what I'm doing. But before I do that, I'm going to add... And this is actually written on the recipe as the ingredients, but it doesn't tell you when to add it. So, got to figure that out, apparently. I'll add it when I write it. A teaspoon of Italian seasoning and some salt and pepper to taste. That should be good. I'm going to add more than a teaspoon. A teaspoon doesn't seem like enough. Alright, that's my homemade Italian seasoning. I do have a recipe for that in the cookbook and on YouTube, and maybe on my website. Not sure. I feel like all recipes are made to be customized. Do your own thing. I just really, really love these noodles, though. That's why I wanted to share these with you. Alright, see, all that liquid is gone, which is good. It's got that sauteed garlic. I mean, honestly, you can use meat with this, you know. And whatever vegetables you use is going to really change the composition of the whole thing, the flavor. All right, let's go over here to the butcher block table and assemble this. Spray with cooking spray. Spread sauce on the bottom of the dish, followed by a single layer of noodles, then evenly cover. Okay, here we go. Thanks to my friend Connie, isn't this spoon sweet? It says homemade-ish. Well, that's kind of what this dish is. It's okay. Get some help from a jar. It's okay. Doing the best we can homemaking. All right. Thanks for being with me today. I always enjoy when y'all are here with me. Let me know if you like vegetarian meals. All right, kind of gives you a free rein, kind of. It doesn't really say exactly about your layers. In fact, it's a little confusing. So when I write it, I'm going to make it a little clearer for us. But basically, you're doing sauce, noodles, the vegetables, I'm going to do half of them. And this is a good time for me to say, do you know that all noodles are oven ready? Do you know that? I mean, don't go spending, and when I say that, I'm talking about pasta noodles, not these vegetable noodles. But don't go spending extra money on something that says oven ready. Y'all, I've been using regular lasagna noodles forever. I'm talking years before they even came out with something called oven ready. So they're all oven ready if you use the right amount of liquid. So save money. Don't go buy oven ready stuff. Noodles, that is. All right. Just make sure all the noodles are completely covered. Otherwise, you're going to have crunchiness. Now, I'm not trying to win any contest on looking pretty. All right. And the last thing says to cover with 2 ounces of Parmesan cheese. Well, I'm not going to grate it. I'm not going to measure it, rather. I'm just going to cover it. So if this teaches you anything, this teaches you just to cook yourself up some vegetables for a filling. Get yourself some kind of sauce, whether it's homemade, jarred, Alfredo, marinara, meat sauce, whatever. Get yourself whatever kind of noodles, whether it's the vegetable noodles or pasta noodles, and just layer it. Learn to cook without a recipe. But it's good to have a recipe for a guideline for starters, definitely. Then it says put a cup of mozzarella cheese on top. Okay, not sure a cup is enough. You know, never have enough cheese and bacon, Mr. Patient says. We're going to cover it with foil, and then we're going to bake it at, what's it say, 435 to 40 minutes. Then we're going to bake an additional 20 minutes or until the cheese is browned. Remove it from the oven and allow it to rest for 15 minutes. That's true with any lasagna. All right, this looks so good, y'all. It looks so good. Look at that. Vegetable lasagna. I like the crusty parts. All right, so doesn't that lasagna look good? What I'm going to do now is I've got some, actually this cucumber, it's kind of past its prime. It stayed in the fridge too long, but it's okay. Remember, we just do the best we can. So what I'm going to do first, let me get some greens. Everything that I have here, except for my onion that I grew in my garden, is needing to be used up. And these are just a spring mix from the store. Organic baby spring mix that we're just going to put in here. And I'm going to just, let's see here, probably, this is an English cucumber, organic English cucumber, and you can slice it or dice it or however you want to do it. This isn't really a layered salad by definition or one of those no-toss salads that I actually love to make. This is just a basic salad, and we will toss it. And we'll just use it with various bottled salad dressings that I have in the fridge that need to be used up. I love making homemade dressing, especially my homemade Thousand Island. But we do have some bottled dressing, store-bought, that need to be used. Now I have these little peppers here that just a few left in a bag from Aldi that I need to use as well. So this is what we're going to have with our lasagna. I'm just going to take these seeds out like this. Put everything in my compost or my chicken bowl here. Chop them all up along with this red onion that we grew last year. Still good and I'll show it to you. Still good and crisp. Look at that. It's just wonderful. There is nothing like, I've learned, nothing like growing your own onions. Especially I love red onions. Just thinking about a new knife that was sent to me, and I want to try that out. Let's see. Ooh, that's smoother than the other one. Nakano, made in Japan. I mean, y'all, this, look, smooth as butter. This is what I needed for to start with. Oh, wow. Oh, I love this. I'll definitely put this information down in the description box so you can read about this knife that was sent to me. Awesome. It even cuts this old produce, or not old, but sad produce that's not terribly fresh. Sometimes it's a little harder to cut. Mr. Patient, I like this knife. It's smooth. Well, there it is, friends. We got a lot of content in today. We made supper. We've got grape tea, and I've told you where you can find that recipe. We've got the vegetable lasagna made with those lasagna noodles from Aldi, those vegetable lasagna noodles. We've got a salad, and we've got croissants that I bought at Aldi too. And I've shared a couple of things I got for Christmas and my new knife. So we've talked a lot about a lot of things today. So I hope you've enjoyed being here. I've sure enjoyed having you. You're welcome here anytime. And I hope that you are counting your blessings, and I will see you soon. Have a good day. Bye-bye.